throughout the transaction too, the difference from this and what I've experienced in resale was I didn't have to worry about like really the timelines or,
Yes.
going and do inspections and writing up a request for repairs or any of this stuff.
Oh my
The
gosh. Yeah.
sales rep handled everything, literally. The sales rep and the in-house lender, they did everything.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like it's really like a cheat code, you know?
I
Yeah.
think it's the best thing I've ever experienced.
That's
Listen.
If you're an apartment locator, you can easily sell houses if you focus on the right niche. So here's the secret: just sell new homes. Stop worrying about resale homes where you're tied to legal binding contracts and you have to honor timelines and deadlines and inspections, third party inspections, contingencies. What if the other realtor doesn't pick up? There's so much that can go wrong with resale. But if you're a locator, you ought to advance or evolve your existing renter locator clients into first time home buyers and help them buy new construction if your market offers new construction homes. Okay, here in Texas, in a lot of major Texas cities, there's an abundance of new home builders. DR Horton, KB Home. I'm actually holding a KB Home check right here for one of my agents, Dawn, for 3%. It was almost 9 grand. And the way she did this was amazing. One of our agents just used an organic free ad as a regular locator, the way we, market for free. And she put an apartment up that was doing 2 months free. Someone reached out to her and they had great credit, great income, 2 years of tax returns, but they had a violent felony. And so the client kept this from Dawn. She sent him to the apartment. He got denied, but Dawn just did such a great job at being a likable professional agent that he kept in contact with her and let her know that he wanted to buy a new home. And so Dawn helped him out, actually flew from California because she works the Texas market here in Austin, remote from California. So Dawn flew from California last second to Austin. In the same day, showed them just a couple of neighborhoods. I think she showed him DR Horton, a neighborhood where he needed to be in Austin, and KB Home. And her client picked a home, a KB home, and closed on it. Like they were in escrow within days. So that's kind of the secret here as a locator. It's definitely really, really important to understand how to make 6 figures as an apartment locator to begin with. That needs to be your bread and butter. But what's awesome about this niche is that when you have clients that come in that have great credit, great income, but just a criminal record, when you buy and getting approved for a mortgage, that doesn't hold you back. Criminal record doesn't hold you back when it comes to qualifying for a mortgage. They just care about income and credit. And so you can take an unqualified locator client, still sell them a house, or you can take an existing renter that you've helped find an apartment before in the past. You can continue communicating with them, hopefully through a automatic CRM nurture, so it's less work. And then you can reach out to them when their lease is expiring and try to help them become a first-time home buyer, because that's the American dream. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play an interview of Dawn and I just discussing her deal and how it came about in her life and her thoughts on how easy this was compared to her experience doing resale and normal apartment locating. So let's just play that right now.
I can hear you.
How are you? How's it going?
Yourself?
I'm doing good. I like your AI background. That's awesome. Okay, check this out. I have your check, so it's coming to you in a few days. But congrats on that sale. That's so awesome. You were saying that it was actually a lead. Did he have a criminal record initially?
Yes,
Wow,
yes, he got declined.
that is so interesting. So he got declined for an apartment, and then he just sold him a house.
Yeah, it happened, and it happened so fast and so crazy.
That's so cool. And wow, I mean, what a commission check too. Like instead of $1,000 apartment check, you turn it into almost 9 grand.
I'm pretty excited and stoked about that. I wish all of them was like that.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Oh man, that's awesome. So I saw that it said KB Home, so it was a new home that you helped him get into, yeah? Okay, awesome. So can you just kind of walk me through how the lead came in and your experience with talking to him and how you like transitioned into suggesting that, maybe you should look at new homes?
Well, I was doing my ad thing, Facebook and also like through apartments. And he came in on one of the listings. He liked the deal, was running like a 5 months type of thing. And we got on a phone call. I vetted him and he did not tell me that he had something on his background. And that was one of my main questions that I always ask. So I scheduled the tour. He went out and toured. And so,
Mm.
maybe like a couple hours later, he wrote back and he's like, yeah, I went, I toured. I'm waiting for approval. I'm doing the application."
Got it.
I'm like, "Okay, cool." So
Right.
he did submit the application. 24 hours went by. He hadn't heard back. So he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, I did this. I submitted all my paperwork. No one's contacted me." I contacted the property and the property told me, something came up with his application. We can't discuss it with you. We'll contact him.
I see. Did you send him or was it an escort? Did you drive there with
No,
him?
I sent him.
Nice,
Yes.
nice. Oh, okay, okay. That's a little better. I feel like some people get kind of embarrassed, when it comes to criminal record and they'll just not really tell the truth. So it sounds like that's kinda what happened, right? He just didn't mention his criminal and
He
he's
didn't mention. I asked, so the questions I asked were, "How much do you make monthly?" I have to make sure you make 3 times the rent. I'm
right,
explaining to him as I go so he doesn't think I'm like a creeper.
right.
And then,
Exactly.
I asked, "Is there anything that would come up in your background? Any criminal history, evictions, broken leases?" He says, "Oh, no, I have excellent credit, no broken leases," but he never touched on the background. And I just went with the excellent credit. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, great. This guy's good. He's in the door." And so when all of this came up, I'm like, the apartments tell me, "Oh, we can't speak to you about it." I immediately like red flag, So
Yes,
I
yes.
reached out to him before they did, and I
Ah,
contacted him and I said, "Hey, I did reach out to the property. You should give them a call," because remember, he reached out to me wanting to know what's going on. Like, "You should
yeah,
give them a call because they're not going to give me your personal information. Check on your application, see what's going on, and get back to me."
got it.
So he did, and he actually got back to me. He was like, "Oh, yeah, something came up in my background." So, and he was still being very vague. I'm like, "If you don't mind me asking, can you tell me was an eviction or something?" And he was like, "No, I had this felony." And he was like, I'll show you exactly what it says." He actually emailed to me what he
Wow.
got back from the apartments, and I knew immediately there was nothing I could do because it was
Yeah,
violent.
a violent felony.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a violent, so no
yeah,
one, and I called around to a few places, no one would take him.
yeah,
So I instead of just ignoring him, I was honest. I was like, "Hey, you really should find a private owner, try to build up for a few years. No new building is really gonna, accept this at this point."
right. Yeah,
He said, "Okay." He asked me, did I know of any private owners? At the time, I did not.
yeah.
We got off the phone, we left it like that. The next day, he wrote me again, and at this point, I'm thinking like, "Oh my god, this guy's crazy," you know? But he wrote me, he was like, "Screw this. I have 700 credit score. I don't need to rent from anybody. I'm gonna buy a house now." I'm just
Wow.
like,
So it was his idea, kind of? Like,
"Mhm."
he kept in contact with you because I mean, he probably liked you, you were probably really good to him, friendly, and he probably felt comfortable, and so he mentioned that to you. Wow.
Yeah, it was his idea. He did tell me in the end when we started working together, he liked that I didn't dismiss him.
Yes, yes. Yeah, okay, so you were more gentle with your upper like, letting him know what was going on. Because yeah, I picked up on that from you. You're very, detail oriented, and you don't seem like someone that would just, like, hang up on a lead or dismiss them and make them feel like they're a waste of time, so that's actually really cool that he probably felt that same energy from you and then reached back out with that idea, so that's great job on
Yeah,
that. Great
and
job.
I kinda went with the flow, like, it's easy to be like, "Oh, this guy's full of crap," or
Yeah.
whatever, but I just went with the flow. He said he wanted to buy, I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I just went and had him jump through a few hoops. I'm like, "Okay, if you wanna buy a property, I need you to get pre-qualified with this lender," and just kinda, like, really easily. Before you know it, I didn't have a lender. I'm not in Texas, I'm in
Yeah,
California. So
yeah.
I just, like, Googled around, and I remember I had a lender on my phone from something that I was working on myself, and I called him, and I'm like, "Hey, I have this guy, he really wants to get pre-qualified. Can you help me?" And he was like, "Yeah, just send him over."
Yeah.
Sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, because you're in Cali right now, yeah? And you work Texas
Yes.
remote. That's what I remembered, yeah. Nice, nice. And so you helped this guy initially, it was from one of your organic free ads. So you listed it like a great deal on an apartment. It was a couple months or a few months free, and he reached out from that. Then when he was denied because of his violent felony, you just did such a good job in being just a friendly agent. So then he reached out to you and he was like, "I kinda just wanna buy." And so did you continue working him remote when you showed him the KB home, new home community? Did you have to fly to Texas and show them all those new
Did fly to Texas.
Oh, got you. Yeah,
I did, but I now, in hindsight, I don't feel like I had to.
I see.
I
Now that
did on my own accord.
I see, okay, yeah. But you now that you closed the deal, you're thinking, like, maybe you didn't even have to be there.
Not at all. I went there the one day.
Yeah.
I showed him properties in one day. We wrote an offer. He was in escrow, and then he didn't even need me anymore. I was offended.
That's freaking wild. Okay, okay. That's so quick. You flew out and same day, like, you just showed him the KB home community, and he just found one and just did it?
Like, believe it, all this happened, like, within, like, a week. Like, he
Yeah.
toured an apartment on, like, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, we found out he's denied. Thursday, he says he wants to buy a house. I made him do all these things. He did them in like a matter of an hour. Got all the paperwork, everything. Friday morning, I booked a flight, went and met him on Saturday, showed him some properties. We were opening escrow Monday.
That's so awesome. Wow. That's one cool thing about our business is, like, as long as you can do a good job like yourself, like, just being likable, clients will come back and continue to work with you and do what you tell them to do. So I just think that's really cool that, he was comfortable enough because, with denials, sometimes they blame us as the agents, and they're like, "Why'd you send me there?" And it's like, "Just don't have a felony," But
The
sometimes
truth.
yeah, sometimes with denials, they get kind of upset with us. So clearly you did a great job in, like, handling him professionally and, with kindness. So, you could continue working him. But wow, that is so cool. And that's what I like about the new home sales is because unlike resale and all this stuff, it's almost like when you take them to that KB home community, did it remind you of like apartment locating in a way where they can pick
It
any
did.
home in the neighborhood that they pick, you're gonna get credited. It's kinda like an apartment
It
building.
did because we saw, like, different builders, like, we saw KB Homes, but then we
Yeah,
saw the DR Horton,
yeah.
and he chose one, and this was, like, my first situation like this. We literally sat in the office at KB Homes. I did nothing,
Right,
literally
right,
nothing.
right. That's what I've been trying to tell people. I'm like, when you do new homes as the buyer agent, like when your locator clients evolve, or in your case, felony, but now they want to buy. Yeah, it's as if you just take them to the office and then like the on-site kind of takes over, right? Like they show them the floor plans, they get their info, they take them out. It really reminds me of like leasing apartments at a building. You just kind of show up and they just do it all for you.
I showed up just to put my name on the if it was an application or something.
Yeah, like the little guest card, welcome guest card that they had, and
Yes.
that's so cool that you experienced that. That's awesome, Dawn. That's so awesome, yeah. So, yeah, that's just so cool that you just walked in, you wrote name on the guest card, they kinda took over everything, and man, it's so much easier than resale, like, because they got options, I feel like, they're in the neighborhood, maybe one floor plan, they don't like it, but that
Mhm.
same agent that's, like, trying to close them for you is going to show them another floor plan or another floor plan or, and at least there's options for the one stop that you make in that neighborhood,
Right.
So
And throughout the transaction too, the difference from this and what I've experienced in resale was I didn't have to worry about, like, really the timelines or,
yes.
going and do inspections and writing up a request for repairs or any of this stuff.
Oh my
The
gosh, yeah.
sales rep handled everything, literally. The sales rep and the in-house lender, they did everything.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really like a cheat code, but I remember early in my real estate career, the same thing happened to me, actually. It was the criminal, like, he had criminal, but they had really great credit and income was good, and they had the 2 years of tax returns, right? Because some people don't have, like, the 2 years of tax returns that they need in the same industry. That was what I was getting a lot. But I remember, it might have been, like, 2016, a long time ago when I was in real estate. Yeah, I had a client. It was like a criminal record, great credit, great income. And I'm like, my broker in Austin, this lady named Susan, she kind of gave me the advice at first, way long ago. She was like, why don't you just take them to KB Home, DR Horton, Lennar, and just see what happens. And I did that with them. And it's almost like they didn't even know they could buy because they were like, well, yeah, if we can buy a new home, we just didn't know that we could. So we're renting apartments. And so sometimes they don't even know that they can buy unless you make them aware. So I told them, let's go look at some homes. And it was like, I felt like it was locating. Like we took them to the KB home neighborhood. They checked it out, took them to like Lennar. And then they just chose one. And then I just remember doing like no work. And so, it's like- and so ever since I experienced that as a young person, I'm like, wow, that's kind of like our evolution as locators is like, we try to get comfortable being a locator, but then when they wanna buy or if they have criminal, I'm like, I really wanna experience that again, like, show up to a neighborhood or send them and, like, do no work, you know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I
yeah.
think it's the best thing I've ever experienced.
That's
Listen,
yeah, that's awesome. Because I remember one time you referred a lead to some other realtor for resale.
I referred the lead to another realtor.
That's right. Yeah, but they were working resale, right?
Well, can resell, but I almost did this with this guy. I almost did the same thing. I was gonna refer him, and I'm like, let me just see if it's something I can do myself first.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, like, whenever I do what you do, I really try to, like, remember the benefits of a new home construction, and there really are because the first year, they give them like a bumper to bumper warranty, for I guess lack
Mhm.
of a better word. They cover like everything for that first year. And then I feel like the second year, other things are covered. It's more limited, but then they get 10 years of like the foundation and the roof stuff. I know KB Home does that too, but people really like that assurance that like, hey, first couple of years you're covered. It's new, never lived in. What's the other thing? All the inspections the builder just went through. Otherwise, they couldn't even sell them. And in some counties, I was looking into this, Don, the other day. Sometimes it's like 30 plus inspections that these new home builders have to go through before they can sell the home. And it's just like multiple, multiple, multiple inspections, as they're building the property. So it is also kind of nice that, there's a very, very low chance for something to be wrong with a new home.
Mhm.
It does happen sometimes, like maybe mold because of weather in the whatever city I've heard before, but it's rare, it's more likely for problems to arise with resale homes that are older because you don't know how that person took care of that home for 20 years or whatever the case is. So I try to tell my clients that because if I can like really get them focused and excited on a new home only, I know that I'm gonna do, like, no work, And but it is a true value, It's like people do like new stuff with warranties. So it really is helping them, but it's also helping us because 'cause I'm like, I'm gonna show up, show face, sign the little guest card, and, like, this other agent's gonna do all the work, you know?
I'm glad I experienced it because it almost felt wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, "Okay, I'm getting paid. What? I've done." And I would, like, call every now and again and, like, touch base just to kinda be, and even
Yeah,
even the client, he was like, "I'm very grateful for everything that you've done for me, but I'm okay, I
yeah.
can call." He was like, "I can call the lender myself, like, you don't have to do anything, it's fine." And he was okay.
That's so awesome. Yeah, yeah, I mean, and that's real estate for you, like, it's all just a game, and like, as long as you're taking care of someone and you genuinely wanna help and you know how to talk to them, professionally and make them feel good, it's all about just playing the right game, and so for me, resale, like, it's just harder to win that game, and then you got timelines and deadlines and counter offers, contingencies, and, oh my god, like, your calendar is just booked with alerts for, like, one client, and if you miss that period, it's scary because, like, especially as a broker as well, when you have a lot of agents or as an agent, it's like if you mess something up on a contract or a timeline, you can get sued and who knows if someone skipped the mold inspection and then the property sells and, we just forgot to schedule it in. There's just a lot more to go wrong when you play the resale game. But with new homes, like me and you experienced, it's just there's not a lot that can go wrong. It was just inspected and, as long as you're there, like you said, like you check in with them, you're friendly, you're nice to them, you're not even really the one doing all the work. It's the new home consultant person that's taking care of everything because 'cause they're gonna earn, 1 or 2% as well. But we get to just kick back and earn 3% or more, So it's awesome.
And I
I know. So I know that now going forward, you're probably gonna, like, always have that in the back of your mind, right? Like, when someone has a criminal, you're gonna be like, "What's your credit? You got 2 years of
That's
tax
the first
returns?
thing I say, "What's your
KB
credit score?"
home." Yeah, yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, you'll never forget now that you made, like, almost 9 grand off this event. It's like you're never gonna forget to check for that. So, that's really cool. And it makes you definitely, like, a smarter agent, to always think of that. Yeah, because it's tough, like, if you haven't experienced this, it's hard to remember that if you've never lived it, that, like, new homes can be as easy as an apartment. It really can in the right situation, you know? So, it's really cool that you got to experience that. But wow, and then maybe you could have sent him and done it all from home, huh, with this guy?
So, I think as long as I would have, if I was to do it again, I wouldn't have went. I don't think I needed to. I could easily call KB Homes, which I had to do anyway, to schedule the tours.
Yeah.
And when you schedule the tours for them, you put your name and your brokerage information and you're listed as their agent. So I think, if that ever happens again, I can go that route. I know how it works now.
Yeah, yeah, and some builders here in Texas, like, for example, Lennar, because my house, even though it's 3D printed, it was like a collab between Lennar and Icon, the 3D printer company. But in order for me to get commission, I got 3% on this house. I had to actually show up, and, I mean, I was my own client, but you still had to they told me, agents have to show up in person and sign. And I had a conversation with them because I wanted to understand how it worked. And I'm like, well, some other builders don't really do that. And Lennar's like, yeah, but we're really strict on them showing up in person before they tour and then signing. And I was talking to them and I said, what if you had an agent that lived out of state and they just can't come out, but they wanna send a client? And they told me, they said, yeah, under situations like that, if we call and we explain like, "Hey, I'm in Cali, but I don't wanna delay my client from showing up," they'll make exceptions, they told me. So, the point is, like, even though some builders require you to show up in person like you did, I feel like you can still in real estate everything is negotiable, like, in real estate, you know? You can still maybe ask to not be there or explain that you live in California, which is true in your situation, and they might still let you send because they don't wanna just miss the opportunity to sell a house, you know? So,
I've had an
yeah.
apartment building tell me that.
Yeah.
They only do escort,
Yeah.
and I explained that I was in California, and they said that if I need to send my client, then it will be fine.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, that's what people need to understand, like, even though there are some set rules, they're always bendable in real estate, you know? Like, I remember I did a lot of business with one property in Central Austin, and they only required escort, but I leased, like, 4 people there before, so they kinda started recognizing my name, and then I called, and, like, it was like it was a younger leasing agent manager, and I just called her, made her laugh, and I was like, "Please don't make me drive in traffic." And she was like, "Okay." Just let it go. So, they're like, the rules are definitely bendable, and a lot of it is just, I think, calling beforehand. If you can call before something happens, people end up respecting that more, not after, you know what I mean? So, if I send a client and then they're already there and then I call, it just doesn't look very professional, but I've noticed that if you call before, they're willing to work with you because they don't wanna lose the opportunity, so you can kinda hold leverage that way, you know? So, yeah. Thank you so much for, like, telling us that awesome story. I hope that more of that happens because it really is just awesome when you sell new homes like that.
Coaching is definitely working because without that, I would have fumbled the ball for sure.
The Alex is coaching on Tuesdays and
Yes.
nice. Is he doing a good job with the weekly?
He's doing a fantastic job.
That's okay, that's awesome, and
Yes.
you guys always have me on Slack any time of day, like right now.
Yes.
So, anything you want me to chip in on, I'm always available on Slack as well. So, just give me, like, 3, 4 days because what we do is I think it takes 2 days for the check to clear in our account, and then 2 days for the direct deposit to send over to you. So, just give me a few more days, and then you'll get your 8,500. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Awesome,
Ready for the
congrats.
next one.
Yes,
Thanks.
congrats. Talk to you
All
soon,
right.
Don. Bye.
Bye.